My next guest is Margaret Leighton, who is the president of the Redwing Horse Sanctuary. As I mentioned before, earlier in the show, there's two recipients for the fundraising we're doing, and so Redwing Horse Sanctuary is the second recipient. So welcome, Margaret.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming out. I cannot wait to hear more about your organization. So how did you become involved in Redwings, and what is your current position?
Well, all my life I've really loved horses, and was never fortunate enough to have them when I was growing up. And I got my first horse when I came to America, and I became involved with Redwings back from the beginning. I've been a supporter. We've been registered non-profit now for 21 years, and we've been around for 21 years, and that's quite a long time for a horse rescue organization. And I have been supporting them, and then I was invited to come on the board in 2004, and then I was elected to president a year ago. So I've been vice president, secretary, various things, and now I'm president. Big responsibility.
Well, it is, but what a worthwhile organization. I'm looking forward to hearing more about your mission. Could you describe the mission of your sanctuary?
Yeah, the mission of our sanctuary is basically three parts. We have an education component where we try to educate the public on how to treat horses humanely, how to care for them, and every aspect of their care and upbringing and training. But the number one part of our mission is the rescue of horses that have been abused, abandoned, starved, and that's our number one part of our mission. And then the third part of our mission is fostering out some of these animals that we have rescued to special foster homes that have been approved by us. So that's our mission, really.
Okay, and I'm interested, what is it, when you say sanctuary, how are you different from other rescue organizations?
Well, when we first started out as an organization, our original function was we rescued horses that were headed for slaughter. And back in the 90s, a lot of people don't realize that horses were transported to slaughter in cattle trucks. And those trucks are double-decker trucks, and they're metal. And horses are built differently to cattle. They have high necks and heads. And these horses were just shoved into cattle trucks and trucked off. They had no food, no water. They were sent to various slaughterhouses across the United States. There were downed animals they used cattle prods in. Some of them broke their legs in there. Some of them still had shoes on, metal shoes, so they were slipping on the metal surface and falling because there was feces and urine, because these were terrified animals. So originally when we started out rescuing horses from slaughter, outbidding what we call the killer buyers. The killer buyers are people there that basically purchase horses by the pound. And so with money from our donors, we rescued some horses. And then we were also very instrumental early in the 90s to bring out legislation that prohibited the transportation of horses in cattle trucks to slaughter. And they were
your organization?
Yeah, and others horse-related organizations in the state of California too. So we were one of the first states to ban that. And Congressman Sam Farr was very helpful to us in that. So, but to get back to your original question, why are we a sanctuary? Originally, back in the 90s, we did adopt out some of the horses that we rescued, and then unfortunately we found some of them came back to us. in sometimes worse shape than what they were sent out. So they'd been abused twice, or sometimes 3 times. And so we decided at that time that we would become a sanctuary. So that means that any animal that we rescue has a lifetime of care at Redwings. We do, as I say, we do foster out some of our horses, but they're to special homes, and we will always take them back if needs be. We don't charge an adoption fee because we're not adopting them out. They still belong as part of the Redwings herd. We still count them as part. We count them as the Redwings family, the Redwings herd, but they're in loving homes with foster guardians who care for them.
The Redwing herd. I love that.
Yeah.
How big is your herd?
Currently, our herd is about 100 horses.
100 horses in one facility? No, some of them are fostered out.
We have horses, ponies. We have wild mustangs. We rescued a mustang herd that a kind person had tried to save and then got in over his head and couldn't take care of. So we have a wild mustang herd. We have some burros, a fantastic herd of burros. They're so great. When you drive to Redwings, they're always making the most noise. They're the first thing you see when you come to visit the sanctuary are the burros on the hillside. So they're great. And we have ponies. So we have horses of all types. We at one time had a Budweiser Clydesdale who was actually sent, because they breed their own horses,
right.
And he was actually destined to go to slaughter because he didn't have the prerequisite white feet. And his name was Baby, so we had Baby for a while.
When you say a while, I've never had horses, but the average age of a Clydesdale, how long are you going to have this baby?
Well, the horses are like dogs and humans. They all have different ages, but because of advances in veterinary medicine, horses can easily live into their 30s.
So that's a huge commitment for you. When you're going to keep this animal for life, 30 years.
It's a huge commitment to anybody that has a horse.
Well,
because if you believe that a horse is a horse for life, then you have to be prepared that horse might live to be 25, 30, 32 years old. So they're all different.
Well, now when you say visit your sanctuary, where is your sanctuary? I want to come visit.
Well, we used to be in Carmel, across from Monastery Beach and state property, and about 12 years ago, the state asked us to leave, and we were very fortunate that one of our benefactors purchased 160 acres for us in Lockwood, which is near Fort Hunter Liggett.
Oh, okay,
on
down
the way
to
Lake San Antonio, past King City. So now we're in South Monterey County, so that's where we are now. It's about an hour and a half drive from here.
It sounds like a big herd. Do you have a staff down there? Or?
We do. We have a staff of 7 full-time employees and 2 part-time, we have quite a bit of space there. It's a big ranch of 160 acres, and currently we have 85 horses there. 85 horses. Mm-hmm.
Do you need volunteers?
Oh.
Tell me how I can be a volunteer.
Well, we need volunteers very badly. When we moved from Carmel to Lockwood, people still, when I mention Redwings, they all say, "Oh yeah, you're out in Carmel." No, we haven't been in Carmel since 2000. But unfortunately, when we moved to Lockwood, we lost a lot of our volunteers. We lost a lot of our donor base.
Well, sure. How long would it take me to drive down there from here?
It's about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Okay.
Yes. Directly, unless you stop on the way, but it's
that's a big volunteer commitment.
It is. So one of the things that we've been doing recently is trying to get volunteers locally, and also moving into Paso Robles and Creston Oaks and San Luis Obispo, because they're it's big horse country. And so is Lockwood. There's a lot of horse people there. So we're gradually spreading out our feelers and hoping to get more volunteers. Because, you know, you've got 85 horses, that's a lot of grooming and a lot of care that we provide for these horses daily.
And they need exercise? They need to be ridden, some of them?
No, our horses are mostly retired, but they do need to be groomed and cared for. You don't just stick a horse out into a pasture and just expect it to survive. They need to be, they need medication, they need farrier work, shoeing work, and that's so we care for these horses daily.
I can tell how much you care. What makes Redwing special? Tell me about the name. I picture this horse with red wings. What does the name mean?
Actually, the name originated in England. Redwing's Horse.
That's where you're from?
That's where I'm from, yes.
Okay.
But I was not instrumental at all in getting the name. We started out under another name, and then in the 90s, we got permission to use Redwing's name for our sanctuary. And Redwing's in England is very, very well known. It's very famous. You know, England's kind of a small island, so it doesn't take a lot to be famous, whereas here in America, you're kind of lost in your corner. But they have over 1,000 rescued horses at Redwing's in England, and they have 4 different facilities. So compared to the original
Are you considered a subset of them?
No,
do they
we're
have?
not.
They don't send you checks? They don't send you money?
No. All of our no, we're not considered.
Okay, so it's just
we just have permission to use their name.
Well,
But we
that's
are
nice.
2 separate entities. But yeah, we started out as chaps back in 1991. So.
Now, were you one of the original founders?
No, I was friends with one of the original founders and was being able to support them with donations until I actually came on board. But yeah, we've had quite a history on the Monterey Peninsula, now in Lockwood.
You are doing some fabulous work. Do you have your own horse? You sound like a horse person.
I am a horse person. I do own a horse. I've owned horses for about 35 years, so I still have my horse. Yes.
Well, I can hear the passion in your voice, and the work you're doing is just amazing. And I can't think of anybody more organization more suited to benefit from the table affair and the fundraising that we're going to do next Thursday. I'd like to thank you so much for being my guest today.
Oh, thank you.
This was fascinating. I don't know anything about horses, but if you'll train me, I'll come down there and be a volunteer for you. How about that?
We always have
I can always
training for
clean up.
volunteers. You know, we train all of our volunteers to help us with our horses, and we're very grateful for any donations for our horses.
Time or money,
We're
right?
100% funded strictly by donations.
Well, thank you so much,
Thank you
Margaret.
very much
I look
for
forward to
having
working
me.
with you in the future. Are you
Okay.
going to be at a table affair?
I will be there at Table Fair. We're thinking about bringing Little Bits.
I was going to say, get those burros up there.
No,
That's what
the
you
burros,
need.
maybe
Put little
not, but
baskets around
Little
their
Bits
neck.
about this big, and he's an ambassador for Redwings and abused horses.
I hope to see Little Bit
Okay.
next Thursday.
All right.
Thank you again.
Thanks.